Do you hate Thanos? Do you hate Hela? I've got great news for you. I put them both in the same deck. I have been seeing a decent amount of discourse about how people are underrating the power of Corvus Glaive, so I went and looked on Untapped for some Corvus Glaive decks that look a little bit off the beaten path. I found this one, and it speaks to me because when Corvus Glaive was first, about to be released, I had Ordinary Harry on 8 cubes as a special guest, and we talked about how we just didn't see how this guy would work if it was just a ramp card, but in a world where we were actually playing Thanos, and you were just fine to discard 2 cards, having a 3/5 that ramps you actually is quite good. Now, that is the sort of genesis of this deck, but what this deck really does is add Hela into Thanos. Like, that's really what's happening here is you are already a Lockjaw deck. You get to play Corvus Hela just like as a package, and that makes Corvus one of the strongest cards in the game. And the reason I actually kind of like what this deck is doing, as opposed to just saying, okay, well, this is just worse normal Thanos. I think it probably is just worse normal Thanos, but you can actually sell me on the upside here, which is if you do the Corvus Hela thing, you're gonna win every mirror. And I do understand that, like, yes, there's significant downside in here. So the way I look at this deck is it's a deck that is taking the best deck in the game, leaning into some RNG, that's Corvus, and then trying to use that RNG to be more threatening in mirrors and more of a cube gainer. When I played this deck, my cube rate was very positive, despite my win rate not being that positive. And a lot of that is due to the surprise cards in there, obviously Hela, but Arrow, since we can't play Devil Dinosaur, has been a good cube thief. And generally speaking, I do think there is something to be said for this kind of approach to Corvus Glaive. If you are looking for a Corvus Glaive deck for the weekend missions, I do think this is the best one I've played by a significant margin. But, like, of course it is, right? I just chucked it in Thanos, right? Like, oh, the 2 best decks are Hela and Thanos. KM Best thinks he's a genius for putting the 2 best decks together. Look, sometimes peanut butter and jelly go together. That's all I can say to you, right? Sometimes peanut butter and jelly just go together. This, honestly, might not be one of those times, but they go together well enough that, like, okay, it's like peanut butter and banana, right? It's not universally acknowledged. Maybe peanut butter and jelly is strictly better, but it is, surprisingly good. And that's sort of how I think about this deck compared to normal Thanos. I think if the chips were down, I would rather play normal Thanos, but I would also rather be playing against normal Thanos because this deck is extremely scary to play against. And that is something, right? Like, that is an actual advantage that this build has over the normal build of Thanos, where, like, nearly every other Corvus deck is just, like, kind of a bad version of something else. This at least has a legitimate potential upside that maybe it's not enough to justify the potential downside, but it does exist. And that makes Corvus an actual real card. So I am happy about that. Lockjaw is Lockjaw, and this deck, by running basically nothing that's actually cheap, is sort of optimizing for being a Corvus deck, right? Like, you don't actually want to be playing stuff like Jeff when you're, like, gonna be discarding some cards. It almost guarantees that you're discarding stuff that actually matters, and if you don't have the Hela, you really want the Corvus, and the thought process is basically, I am going to Corvus into whatever's left in my hand that is big. Because, Thanos does have the issue of, like, I drew a bunch of big guys, and Corvus does kind of solve that issue. If by discarding some of the big guys, he still lets you get ahead and try to play big guys. One thing I've noticed, though, is that when I had both Lockjaw and Corvus, I would Lockjaw on 3, and then Corvus plus Stone on 4. That was much more appealing to me a lot of the time. This is still a Lockjaw deck, and there are very few reasons to sincerely invest in Corvus over Lockjaw. He's just pretty good in addition. Kyera is a great defensive card in this deck, obviously protecting all of your 1-cost cards, but also protecting the 6-cost cards that Corvus helps you really accelerate towards, and that is probably her primary role. You'd think she's in the deck to protect the ones. She's not. Like, you get Killmongered, it sucks. Sometimes she can stop that, but overwhelmingly what this card is doing is your opponent is relying on a Shang-Chi to win a lane. You get to play like Kyera and a Scar because you have 7 energy because you played something along the lines of a Time Stone or Corvus Glaive, and you get to, like, play that blob on turn 5 because of the Corvus Glaive. You go, like, Kyera Scar on 6. None of your stuff gets Shang-Chi'd. It's kind of, like, the best thing you can do a lot of the time. And costing 3, obviously, very, very key to mix a 3 and a 4. Scar often ends up costing 4 instead of 2. So, yeah, Kyera, quite important. She's basically, the way I would think of her is as your condom in this deck. I do not recommend, engaging in Thanosial relations without her. She's what protects you. She's what keeps you safe. Corvus Glaive. Now, I do think it is likely that in the aggregate, this ends up being a downgrade compared to the typical Thanos list. I would not necessarily recommend that you buy this for this, but I will say I am impressed with the ability of Corvus Glaive to infuse some real gambling into decks by just, like, literally, they play big cards already, you put Corvus and Hela in them, right? Like, this is what he was doing in the ramp deck, and Thanos is just a better version of that deck, so it makes sense that this kind of works here too. It's just Thanos also needs it less. One of the things that will come up a lot with Corvus is it's going to really stress your snapping here. And I think right now a lot of people don't necessarily know that I'm going to Hela them off the Corvus, so they don't know to leave if I don't discard my Hela and I snap them. They don't know what that means, but it actually means something extremely strong. And this is actually legitimately strong. It's a lot of hidden information, and even when you aren't necessarily doing Hela, you have lockjaw rolls to go get her. You have the extra energy. This card does work here. It's just kind of an open question as to whether or not this package is an upgrade. I am impressed with it generally, but I'm also just impressed with Thanos deck generally. I think it needs a little bit more time before we figure out if this is a serious boost. Shang-Chi is one of the 5 best cards in Marvel Snap, and really, there's no reason for me to talk about it beyond that. Yeah, this card rocks. It's incredible. No one make the joke where I'm like, oh, this card rocks, but it's not Rock Slider Korg. Shut up. This is an amazing card. You are in the business of running amazing cards. Shang-Chi plus a 2-cost Scar is obviously completely disgusting, and it is something you try to play to a lot of the time with Corvus. However, because your 5s are so awkward, you often find yourself unable to get to that 2-cost Scar because the actual cost Corvus has is the Devil Dinosaur. This guy helps a lot, though. I don't think I'd be willing to get rid of Devil Dinosaur if this guy didn't exist. So I do think, if you want a Corvus deck, you do probably need him in there because, again, you really want to be getting those Scar procs down. You need to be using your energy efficiently. And plus, this guy's just awesome in every Thanos deck right now. I would consider him a core part of every Thanos deck, but he's even better in, a Hela Thanos deck because he's just another big guy for you to get rid of and then bring back later. Normal 4-drops, you're like, oh, I got rid of that. I don't really want to get that back with Hela. But this guy, it's he's huge. He's as big as a 6-drop, and that is pretty damn good. Vision is a genuinely good card here, but he unfortunately has the downside of not discounting Scar, which does make me very, very sad. Really, I really can't stress this enough. What you want your 5-drops to do is discount Scar. That's really important. And without Devil Dinosaur, because we're a Corvus deck, we kind of don't have a lot of options for that. And that does make me kind of sad. And it does also speak to the way 5-drops are designed. Why is it that there's a 4/12? I guess we could play Ronin, right? That would be the plausible thing to throw in here is just put a Ronin in here instead and see where the deck goes from there. Because at least that guy's going to be big enough for a Scar to be discounted most of the time. And outside of Ronin, it's man, I'm really not sure there's 5-drops that I'm really interested in. Vision is a great one, though. I do think that the contention that Ronin would be in for, the spot he'd be contending for, is the Arrow spot. So am I only playing Arrow because I have a sick-ass variant of her? Maybe. But I do think that it's important to have some surprise built into your decks. And I think right now we're leveraging not only the surprise of Hela, but also the surprise of Arrow, which is genuinely very good. Leveraging Arrow is quite powerful. Obviously, I wish she was a 5/10. More than anything, I wish this card was a 5/10. That would be so sick. But right now, she's a 5/9, not discounting Scar. And yes, if you want to go further into the Scar investment, I think you could replace her with Ronin. I have found her to be a sneaky useful card to steal cubes, get good snaps off on. But other than that, it's a little iffy, I think. Guy's enormous, and in a deck like this, he's actually bigger than usual. I could notice an actual difference when I'm literally there's no Jeff in here, there's no 1-drops in here. You are getting big ass blobs. It is notable because you are really investing in the numbers that are on cards. There's no Devil Dinosaur giving you 3 power. There's no Jeff. There's none of that. It's all just these are some serious damn numbers. This guy is closer to 20 in this deck more of the time than he is in other Thanos lists. It is it is noticeable that this has more big cards in it because it is a ramp deck that makes your blob better. Okay, so yes, fundamentally what we did here is just take Thanos and jam a small Hela package in there. Please don't make small Hela package jokes. Thanks, I get it. I already made it in my head. But this kind of package can be quite useful. And the reason it can be useful is A, because your opponent doesn't know you're going to play Hela. They think you're just like doing Corvus stuff. And B, it's just a really big frickin' 6-drop. This is like you discard 2 reasonable cards, like a 5 and a 6, and this is suddenly just more points than Thanos decks can reasonably deal with because you're doing the Thanos stuff every other turn of the game, you're getting extra energy, and then Hela's like a 630. And it's like, oh, okay, that actually makes sense. And there are matchups where that is absolutely relevant. Yes, it's still Hela. Yes, sometimes Corvus will light you on fire and then point and laugh while you don't draw this card. But the actual selling point of this deck is that it's higher risk, higher reward Thanos. And Hela is what makes that true. I just wanted to take a second so everyone can, like, look at that split. Everyone look at that split. Think about how much it cost me. Go watch the video where I repeatedly failed to roll anything reasonable on this Thanos variant. But yeah, no, I mean, I shouldn't really have to explain much about why we're playing Thanos in a Thanos deck, so I'm really just killing time and looking at my variants here, so I hope you enjoy them. The more time that has passed, the more impressed with Scar I have been. I think that people think of January as a season where like very few good cards came out, but I don't think Thanos would be doing what it's doing right now without this card and without Hela. This guy is so freaking good. A 6'11 that you can get down to a 2'11, and when you get him down to a 2'11, it just becomes like very difficult to lose games. That said, don't tunnel vision on him. Some of the time, your better play is just going to be, have Hela on the board, giant Thanos, giant blob. Sometimes that's just better. You don't need to attack 2 lanes on the final turn of the game if your lanes are so prohibitively large that it doesn't matter. Magneto's just kind of busted, right? Like, outside of Dr. Doom, this is the, like, staple great 6-drop. We can't run Dr. Doom because we're a Thanos deck. We fill up all our lanes. So Magneto is our guy. And right now, I mean, like, honest to God, I don't think he's better than Dr. Doom because attacking 3 lanes for free is just always going to be really strong. But I personally think he's more useful, if that makes any sense. This guy is a combination giant threat and cube juicer. It is so difficult to play around a Magneto because he can go in any of the lanes and the permutations are different in each lane. And where playing around a Dr. Doom is extremely easy, 5/5/5, playing around a Magneto is extremely difficult. And so I genuinely think that, like, there are situations where Doom is a better card. This is clearly not one of them. And in this deck, I mean, this is one of the best cards in the game. He is so damn good. Turboing Magnetos, clogging lanes, unbelievably powerful card, especially when you have a Hela preventing it from getting Shang-Chi'd on the back end. Like, this is primo. This is free real estate. I love this guy. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for making it this far in the video. We're going to throw some gameplay on the back end so you can see how this deck tends to play out with the Corvus Hela stuff, what actually ends up happening, and how powerful it actually is. I personally was fairly impressed, but it was definitely a deck where, like, luck really mattered, right? Like, I went on a, 80 SP winning streak, I went on, a 50 SP losing streak, and then I made some of it back. On the whole, I was, plus 20 cubes or so over the course of about 20 games, which does not sound amazing. It sounds, passable, but we were basically 50-50 in those games, which does show the value of the surprise, of the way you have to approach this deck snapping. I do think there is something to be said for that, especially because I was fairly passive on snapping. I was taking a lot of calls, you're snapping me, I think I'm actually going to win, I'll snap it back. I think that there's room for improvement on that, basically. So I do think this is a potentially exciting list. If you're looking for a Corvus Glaive weekend mission deck, this is probably the one I would play. And I do think that this archetype deserves some real investigation. I'm interested to see how it pans out. I wouldn't be shocked if it ends up just worse than normal Thanos, but there is actually an ethos for why this makes sense. And it is, Hela is really damn good, Corvus is really damn good, and you can afford to discard the cards because some of the time you're just going to get them back for free with your Hela. Yes, sometimes you discard your Hela, it sucks. But those are games you get to retreat for one. This is definitely much more of a snap and retreat deck now, and it's effectively a Thanos deck that invested in variance in order to beat mirrors. That is how I would think about it. And if that's something that's interesting to you, I do consider it compelling. I don't think it's enough reason for you to buy Corvus Glaive or use caches on Corvus Glaive yet. I think you still need to hold off on that, but I'm a little more optimistic on him than I was previously. Not optimistic enough to say you need to go get him just yet. I will keep you posted. Thanks so much. I've been Cam Best. You've been phenomenal. I'll see you in the next one. I'm going to wait a turn on this Power Stone because it's not like we have any 2-drops in here. Just the side that faces the camera. Oh, for sure. All right, now I'm going to hold the Power Stone because I'm playing fucking Corvus Glaive. And we're definitely not discarding Hela here. Under no circumstances. See, now I go Power Stone Corvus. Yo, Ash Tree Dweller, you did not have to do that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ash Tree Dweller. He's snapping me, which I think is fine. I think I'm going to lose, but I'm going to stick in it because of the Corvus Hela thing I've got going on here. Annoying, but maybe we'll live. Got a solid 50-50 on discarding the Hela. Oh my. Oh my. So if I go Blob, then Timestone Hela next turn? Or do I just go for the Hela right now? It is Cerebro. I'm still definitely down to lose. You know what I mean? Still definitely down to lose. Boy, do we win this? Let's find out. Do we beat Cerebro Mystique? I don't know. Don't know. Gonna try and find out. Okay. Sure do. Sure do, baby. We sure do. Wow. You must be so cool. Damn. Only cool people would pick the name Blood Wolf. But to answer your question, no, I've never seen you, buddy. And the reason I'm ragging on you a little bit here is I often do get people coming in there and being like, "Yo, what's up? That was me. I beat the streamer." Draw two here effectively, right? You get a second soul stone. Yeah, disgusting. Well, this is just awful. Some real depressing shit. Boy, I cannot wait to get Killmongered here. Is there a win here? I really don't know. I really don't know. We never win if they drew death. That's correct. What if they didn't? What if they didn't draw death? We're still probably dead. But you know. Holy shit, we did it. Oh! Goated. We did it. A plus ad timing right at the match finale. I'm a cheap SOB, so it's okay. Hey man, I said I was working on ad timing, not that I was going to be perfect at it. I typed before? Maybe on your end. On my end, that just showed up after I said it. Ash giving the dude a sub. That's crazy. That's crazy. The gift sub out of, like, quasi spite is nuts. The quasi spite gift sub is actually crazy. Oh, they got my Shang-Chi. I was wondering what the fuck was going on there. That is super weird. Lockjaw Mindstone gets good shit a lot of the time. Maybe it's like Magneto and we just can... No. We don't want it to be Magneto. We want it to be like Blob or something. Oh, that sucks. Has to go right there. Yes! Now we just have to win a Dracula flip. Let's go! Tropic, no free clout stream. I would never see. There he is right now. Look at that. He's collecting his free clout while pretending not to. Look at that. Her web connects them all, chat. Corvus isn't ongoing, correct? Like, there's no downside to playing him here. He doesn't read as an ongoing. No! Shit. That's painful. That's painful. God, we were going to live the dream there. I'm not even going to lie. That was going to be it. If we'd gotten to that Hela, we never lose this game. Oh, big guy. Or even a stone that draws a card. Really, anything's good here, I think. That's bad. This is insane, and I want to die. You don't use deck tracker while in game? I do. Is it not up? It's right down there. Can we hit them on this Great Web for once? My God. These are all insanely terrible hits. I cannot even get over it, how bad they are. Lost the 50-50 every turn. Correct. All right, check me out. Still super fucking dead, I think. We've lost every 50-50 this game. Oh my God, we win. If we pull the Miss Marvel, we win. Right? Pull the Miss Marvel, right? Come on, pull the Miss Marvel. Are you fucking serious? Wait, we win the tiebreaker. Holy shit. We suck so bad. And then if it doesn't work, I still get the ramp, right? If it does work, obviously it's like the coolest shit ever. But like, you know, we're gonna discard her here. That's happening. So when it doesn't work, it's like, you know, still cool, you know? I'm holding the Soul Stone because I'm gonna Corvus, right? More Hela in the meta is Sag, though. I don't disagree. So now we go Lockjaw and then Corvus Stone. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I think I want reality there. They will Profex? That would be bad for me. I don't know what to tell you. I would probably whip my shit. Naturally. The ones we like, of course. Naturally, that would happen. I am compelled by that, though. Kyera's in the deck. I think Shang stuff is their only real thought process here. And if we can make them invest into a Shang and then die, we can win this game. Boom! That's an investment into a Shang and dying. Let's go. You make a content stay, and then everyone is like, this guy fucking sucks. It's unbelievable. Oh, hell yes. Every time, baby. We're rocking it. Let's fucking go. Oh, God. They're high rolling harder than us, chat. Do we just say we always lose to that? Go for a Shang-Chi here? Space Stone does give me room. Okay, we do like Hela Space Stone, right? Yeah, let's try it. All right, we just gotta roll one of the good cards, right? We just gotta roll one of the good cards. Magneto, Thanos, or Blob. Yes! Finally, we get lucky. Holy shit. Finally, we get lucky. Man. Not Joey Owie. Oh my god. Okay. My bad. But in my defense, it does kind of look like that. Alright, check this out. We're going turn 2 Corvus. We're going turn 2 Corvus. Oh, this is the Phoenix guy. Oh. Solid. Holy shit, we drew her. Well, that is just awesome. I mean, goddamn. We're fucking cooking. We're so back. We are so back. Holy shit, we're not back at all. What the fuck is happening? I'm horrified now. I can't do it when in a world where I have this Hela, I'm legally not allowed to leave. Are we dead now? I feel like we're dead now. boy, we turned that shit on and they left immediately. Ooh, turn 1 Mind Stone? It's been a while since I've seen that. Let's fucking go. I love turn 1 Mind Stone. Do I love it enough to snap? Not with these stone draws. Dude. Actually just playing a 4-5 Shang here? Fuck me. Incredibly depressing. That could help me. Magneto. Oh my god, Time Stone? Yo, Thanos 22. This doesn't feel winnable. If it is, it's likely on like a 50-50 type play. Okay, so what are they thinking? They're thinking, I'm going to move the Vision to the Kunlun, correct? They're thinking, I'm moving Vision to Kunlun. Are they? It's like Eliath left? Is that what's happening here? Is it Eliath left? Did we get him? I don't know. Let's go! Oh, fuck yes. Oh, fuck yes.